Upon the Magic Roads completely lied to you about Ivan's story, and once you see what's really happening, you'll never watch this film the same way again. Everyone thinks this is a wholesome fairy tale about a kind farm boy who becomes king through goodness and magic, but that's exactly what the film wants you to believe while it hides something much darker underneath. Our story opens with a magical mare destroying crops, and here's the first massive red flag nobody talks about. Why would a magical creature randomly attack one specific farm? This wasn't random destruction. The mare was sent to find Ivan. Notice how conveniently his two older brothers force him to guard the field alone that exact night? They're unknowingly fulfilling a destiny that was set in motion long before this story began. When Ivan encounters the mare and gets dragged into the sky, this is one of the most terrifying moments in the film, but everyone glosses over it because of what happens next. The mare crashes into a swamp, and Ivan, instead of finishing her off or securing his profit, sees her tears and releases her. People call this kindness, but what if Ivan could sense on some level that this creature was testing him? What if he knew that killing her would end his story right there? Because the very next morning, two magnificent stallions and Foe, a talking magical horse, appear as a gift. But here's what's deeply unsettling. Why would an ancient magical mare send her own immortal son to serve a human? Foe isn't a gift, he's a handler. Watch how Foe always knows exactly what to do, where to go, what's coming next. Theory 1. Ivan didn't stumble into this adventure, he was selected for it. This entire story is a predetermined path orchestrated by forces we never see, and Ivan is just following a script he doesn't know exists. When Ivan decides to sell the horses, Foe grabs him and runs before his father can confront them. The speed is supernatural. Foe calls the stallions with just his voice, and they obey instantly. This isn't companionship, this is control. Theory 2. Foe is actively manipulating events to ensure Ivan ends up exactly where the plan requires him to be, inside the corrupt king's palace. At the city, Foe warns Ivan to sell quickly to the poor merchant, but Ivan's greed makes him announce a public auction instead. Now here's what's brilliant and manipulative. Foe knew the king would see them. He knew Ivan's greed would trigger this exact chain of events. The best way to manipulate someone is to let them think they're making their own choices. Cut to the foolish king with his telescope swatting flies while people starve. But is he really foolish? Look how fast he moves when he wants those stallions. Look how his advisor always has backup plans ready. This king isn't stupid, he's strategically lazy, which makes him far more dangerous. When the king steals the horses and Ivan fights back, humiliating him with that flower crash, the advisor immediately suggests hiring Ivan to keep him close and make him suffer. But that's the sanitized version. They recognized a threat and needed to control it. Then something unexpected happens. People genuinely love Ivan. His authentic nature wins hearts everywhere. And this is where the film shows you how power actually works. The king didn't bring Ivan to become popular, he brought him to neutralize him. But you can't control authenticity, and that's what terrifies those in power. So the minister invents the Firebird mission. On the surface, it's designed to kill Ivan through an impossible task. But here's the darker truth. What if the king genuinely wanted the Firebird for himself, and Ivan was just an expendable tool to get it? Every impossible mission in this film serves the king's greed while conveniently eliminating threats to his throne. When the Foe hears about the Firebird mission, he's genuinely shaken. Everyone who's tried has died. But they have no choice, which reveals the film's bleakest reality. In a monarchy, the king's word is absolute law, even when that word is a death sentence disguised as a mission. The Sleeping Nuts plan shows you can't capture something wild directly. You have to sedate it first, trick it, make it vulnerable. This is literally how authoritarian power controls everything free and dangerous. In the desert, the Firebird lives hidden beneath sand. Why is an elemental creature of pure power hiding? What is it afraid of? The answer is humans, specifically humans like the king who want to own it. When the Firebird realizes Ivan's trap, the chase through flames represents the violent cost of trying to capture things that were meant to be free. Ivan's last sleeping nut works. The Firebird collapses. He's won. His life is saved. But when it wakes up, crying, terrified, caged, Ivan releases it. Now here's the critical question the film never wants you to ask. Is Ivan actually kind, or is he psychologically incapable of exploiting others? There's a difference. Kindness is a deliberate choice. Ivan's compassion seems compulsive, almost like a character defect in a world that rewards cruelty. He physically cannot witness suffering without acting, even when it costs him everything. The Firebird leaves a glowing feather, but when Ivan shows it to the court, the glow has faded. It looks worthless. The king sentences him to death immediately. This scene reveals how evidence means nothing to power that's already decided you're guilty. The executioner approaches, but then the Firebird itself descends glowing like the sun. Now everyone believes Ivan. But here's what's chilling. The Firebird didn't didn't owe Ivan anything. It was free. It could have gone anywhere in the world. So why did it return? Theory 3. Magical creatures in this world operate on binding cosmic debt. The mare owed Ivan. The firebird owed Ivan. Every creature he frees becomes magically obligated to save him later. This isn't friendship or loyalty, it's an exploitable magic system, and someone taught Ivan how to use it without him even realizing. The king rewards Ivan, but his jealousy intensifies. People love Ivan more every day, and the king sees his own obsolescence approaching like a storm. The advisor whispers the Snow Princess mission. Now this one is fascinating because unlike the firebird, which was deadly, the Snow Princess is just unreachable. She lives where no human can survive. Why? Theory 4. The Snow Princess isn't trapped on that mountain. She's hiding. She's a refugee from men, from kingdoms, from being claimed as property by people exactly like this king. When they reach her cave, a massive ice wall blocks entry, but the firebird's feather melts it instantly. See the pattern? Every act of compassion gives Ivan specific tools for future obstacles. It's mechanical, it's transactional. The film disguises a cold magic system as heartwarming kindness. Inside the cave, countless identical sleeping princesses fill the space. Why? Who created them? Are they clones, failed copies, prisoners? The film never explains this nightmare, and that ambiguity is genuinely disturbing. Ivan finds the real princess with the feather's help, but she refuses to leave. She says there are no brave men left in the world. Then she jumps off the mountain. Let's be clear about what just happened. That wasn't a test of bravery, that was a suicide attempt. If Ivan hadn't jumped after her, she would have died. That's not testing courage, that's testing whether someone is insane enough to die with you. Ivan leaps without thinking. She floats with her magical dress, but seeing him fall like a stone, she grabs him. Her dress tears. Both fall. Foe saves them with the feather's power. That night, Foe tells Ivan the truth. You love her, so we should never return to the king. This is Foe revealing he knows exactly what will happen next. He's warning Ivan that his integrity will be weaponized against him. But Ivan doesn't listen, because Ivan's fatal flaw isn't stupidity, it's having honor in a system designed to punish honor. Back at the palace, the king sees the princess with Ivan and immediately decides to marry her himself. Process that. The king sends a teenager on a suicide mission to retrieve a woman, and when the boy succeeds, the king claims her as his prize. This is the film's most savage critique of monarchy. Your victories belong to your ruler, even the people you love. Ivan gets gold but loses everything that matters. That night, he sneaks to her chambers with flowers. She smiles. She likes him too. But guards burst in, and Ivan barely escapes. The next day, the king proposes marriage. She refuses with a brilliant strategic move. She won't marry until her grandmother's ring is recovered from the ocean, an impossible task buying her time. But the king instantly volunteers Ivan. See the pattern? The king doesn't actually want these magical items, he wants Ivan dead. Each mission is just another murder attempt with plausible deniability. Foe calls his mother, who reveals the ring is inside a whale so massive it's become an island. Here's a detail everyone ignores. This whale swallowed multiple ships, meaning it killed hundreds, maybe thousands of people. And yet, when they meet her, she's remorseful, chained, desperate for redemption. The film asks an uncomfortable question it never answers. Do creatures that commit mass murder deserve forgiveness just because they feel bad about it later? Ivan doesn't debate ethics. He helps her sneeze out the ships, breaking her chains. She dives away, free and happy. But Ivan forgot to ask for the ring. Then a crab crawls up with it, sent by the grateful whale. Here's what's sinister about this. The whale could have kept that ring. She owed Ivan freedom, nothing more. But she gave it anyway. Theory 5. The magic system in this world doesn't operate on kindness. It operates on binding supernatural debt. Help someone and they become cosmically obligated to help you back. Ivan isn't kind. He's accidentally exploiting a magic system he doesn't understand. He returns and secretly gives the princess the ring. She accepts his proposal, but the advisor catches them and chaos erupts. A fight breaks out. The king shoots Foe, who falls wounded. Ivan is imprisoned, and now the film takes its darkest turn. That night, a chick leads the princess away, sent by dying Foe. She explains her plan. She told the king he could become young again through 3 magical cauldrons, but the advisor twisted it so Ivan would be tested first. Stop and think about this. The princess knew about these cauldrons all along. She knew their power. She's been sitting on this information, waiting for the exact right moment to weaponize it. Theory 6. The Snow Princess isn't a damsel in distress. She's a master strategist who's been playing a long game since the second she arrived at this palace. 3 cauldrons: freezing water, boiling water, scorching milk. To survive, the ring goes in the cold water, the firebird's feather in the boiling water, and the life-death flower from the edge of the world in the milk.
Foe is wounded but must travel to find this flower. Morning comes. Ivan is thrown into boiling water. The princess drops the ring. He survives. Thrown into freezing water. The firebird drops its feather. He survives. Thrown into boiling milk, and he stays under too long. People think he's dead. They start to leave. Meanwhile, Foe reaches the life-death flower, which speaks, "If you pluck me, you will die." And Foe does it anyway. He chooses to end his potentially eternal existence for a human he's known for weeks. The flower falls into the cauldron. Light explodes. Ivan rises transformed, glowing, looking like royalty. Everyone celebrates, and the king, desperate and panicking, jumps into a cauldron with zero magical protection. He's trapped in a bubble and floats into the sky forever. Here's what nobody discusses. That's not death. The king is fully conscious inside that bubble, floating through endless sky for eternity. That's not justice, that's psychological torture worse than any execution. With the king gone, Ivan is crowned ruler, but Foe thinks he's dying because of the flower. The princess smiles and says it was just a test of his heart. He proved himself pure and loyal, so he lives. But here's the most disturbing question in the entire film. Was she telling the truth? Did the princess actually know the flower wouldn't kill Foe? Or did she gamble with his life and just got lucky? Because if she wasn't absolutely certain, she sent Foe on a suicide mission and is now lying about it. Theory 7, the big one. The Snow Princess orchestrated this entire story from the very beginning. She wasn't rescued, she allowed herself to be brought to the palace because she needed regime change, and Ivan was her perfect weapon. Look at the evidence. She has a magical dress that lets her float. She knows about ancient magical cauldrons that can transform people. She has her grandmother's ring that can cool boiling water. She's not helpless, she's extraordinarily powerful. So why did she need Ivan? Because she needed someone pure enough to earn the firebird's feather and the mayor's blessing, someone who could pass the cauldron tests, someone the people would genuinely love and accept as king. Ivan wasn't the hero, he was the chosen instrument of her plan to overthrow the monarchy. The moment Ivan becomes king, she's right there as his queen. She gets exactly what she wanted, control of the kingdom through a king the people adore. It's brilliant and deeply manipulative. They live happily ever after, but let's be honest about what that means. Ivan is now responsible for an entire kingdom with zero training in governance, economics, law, or military strategy. He's a farm boy whose only skill is being kind to people and magical creatures. The princess, however, clearly understands power, strategy, and long-term planning. So who's really ruling this kingdom? Theory 8. Ivan is a puppet king and the Snow Princess is the true power behind the throne. She'll make every important decision while Ivan serves as the beloved public face. And honestly, maybe that's not even bad. Maybe that's exactly what this kingdom needs. A kind face the people trust and a strategic mind making the actual decisions. But it completely reframes the story. This isn't about a farm boy who became king through goodness and magic. This is about a master strategist who identified the perfect candidate for regime change, manipulated every event to place him on the throne, and now controls the kingdom through him. Ivan's kindness wasn't his superpower, it was his qualification for the role. His compulsive compassion made him the only person who could collect all the magical artifacts needed for the cauldron test. His integrity made people love him. His naivete made him controllable. Upon the Magic Roads wants you to believe this is a fairy tale about goodness winning, but what it actually shows you is how power works. Find someone pure, use them to overthrow your enemies, and rule through them while they smile for the crowds. That's the real Magic Road, and Ivan never even realized he was walking it. If this analysis changed how you see this film, let me know in the comments what details you caught that I missed.